Look at me. I'm tall, I'm slim. There are things I could work on, but I also know I'm not everyone's type. Look at my legs. They are long, but I don't hate myself. I don't wish I could be anyone else. Today I'll be speaking to a friend to get her views on how she sees herself and her appearance.
Okay, so when I wake up early in the morning, I think like for the first, I have a routine. So after I pray, I read. So first of all, after I pray, I read the Quran for like 50 minutes. Then I'd have to read a book for like 5 pages or 15 minutes again. So in the 15 minutes, the number of pages I'm able to cover. Then after that, I would exercise for 30 minutes. Just those, so that I'll be healthy. So after exercising, the only thing again I do is I meditate. So I just sit down. I'm still trying to learn how to meditate. I've not really mastered the art. So I practice how to meditate. So I sit down quietly for like 5 minutes to just go over like certain things and my day begins.
So which part of your body is here too?
My skin.
Your skin. My skin. I can't say that.
Growing up, right, we all knew, I think when we were growing up, my friends, that was in JHS 1, JHS 2. Adolescents, after they taught us adolescents and we were supposed to have pimples and all those things, people began having pimples. Me, I didn't have some. I was like, how? So
Yeah,
I'm not growing. I'm supposed to get some. Why am I not getting some? So it's like me, I'm not growing. So I think JHS 2, I still didn't get some. I told my mother that my class girls, like all of them have pimples. It's like only me that I don't have. My mother said, oh, like it's normal. She didn't really have like those pimples. She usually gets this like once in a while. And I kind of like got to realize that like,
Hello, good morning.
I kind of got to realize that the skin is actually like the biggest part of us, right? That's what people see most. And I'm one person that I really care about my looks, right? And I understand that there is no second chance to first impressions. And I think I usually make my impressions through my skin, because like I'm very much careful. Like even though I didn't really have those pimples and all those things, sometimes they'll come and they are saying certain things to us. If you do this, you use this soap to wash your face, this will happen. If you use this to do this, this will happen. I don't really do those things. I don't, because I feel like I want to have like that nice, like that natural skin, and it wouldn't just be that I've actually kept some things on it. And I also think that when my skin is nice and I dress up, I look very nice. It was recently, I think that was last month. A friend was asking me if I have sunscreen. I was like, what's that? Like, I've been hearing people talk about it. I've been seeing it on Instagram and all those things. Like, I just don't know. Like, people use it, and someone was also telling me that, oh, do I use hand cream? And I'm like, no, I don't use hand cream. Like, I honestly think maybe it could be part of like natural skincare, but for me, as I told you earlier, I don't really like use those things. I don't patronize those things, because sometimes too, even though like we know business people, how sometimes like they go all out to make us patronize their things. There are certain secrets that like they don't really tell us, and sometimes I had an encounter with someone. Actually, I was the one that recommended a person to get that skincare product. The person went for this. It was like those organic stuff. Like it was that bad. Certain things that like, oh, I felt really bad for having recommended. So right now, like I'm really very careful about like the things I use on my skin. Like if I'm going to buy something and it's a skincare product, like I'll just make a long list. Then I'll say, okay, if you meet all this, can you DM me? Like I don't, if this chemical is there, I won't buy. Like yeah, so I just think that's my small way of taking good care of my skin, because we all know that the skin is the largest organ, right? At a certain point, I usually tell my friends that like I like dark people. I wish I was dark, but it's rather unfortunate that I'm fair. And they tell me, oh, it's because I'm fair. That's why I'm saying that. And dark people too think that they wish they were fair. But anyway, I still like myself. Like I'm fair. I'm okay. I don't like to use things that would bleach my skin or anything that would cause any form of damage to my skin. And so people that usually bleach, if I have the opportunity, I'll just speak to you, because time to come, it's your skin that we see like most often, right? We can't look at you and we are looking at your heart. We can't look at you and suddenly we are looking at any other organ of your body. It's your skin. So if you don't take proper care of your skin, years to come you would practically be hiding yourself. You didn't want anybody to look at you. That's a body I don't really like. That's a body I don't really like. Okay. Okay, I'll just say my feet. Even though I think I like most parts of my, just like my feet, or what do they call it? This is legs, right? Yeah, it's my feet.
Why?
Maybe sometimes I just wished that maybe my feet were quite smaller, because I realized that like they get nice shoes. Yes. Those with very small feet, like they have nice shoes. Sometimes I'm going to buy something. They say, oh, size 37, size 38. There's no 39, there's no 40. Like, I'm like, oh, so as far as they will not get somewhere and wear, like, yeah. So sometimes, like, when I'm buying stuff, especially like footwear, I'm just like, hey, this one, yeah. So it really makes me quite like reluctant to go and buy like those things. Unless, of course, I'm very sure that where I'm going, I'll get some. Yeah. I think I'm enough. I don't think I should have been like, I think I'm enough the way I am. I like my body. I like everything about myself. So things that I think that there's a possibility of me changing is like relating to my health or something. I'll just do as much as possible like to work on those things. But in as much as there are some things like I could work on, but I just think I'm enough the way I am. No matter what you say, like it's still me. And my friends would always say that. I'll always say I'm ragada or like anything. Maybe someone meets me and the person is like, oh, slim girl, this girl, like fair girl, and I said, oh, I'm not fair girl, I'm ragada, like that's just it for me.
Okay, she's ragada.
So in my family, there are people that like there's a variety, like yes. So that one, I'm not really affected. Like in my family, like there are utterances and whatever, like it doesn't really affect me because like we've accepted ourselves and we believe that everyone is supposed to be like the way they are supposed to be. But when you come out in the society, mostly like in my neighborhood, I'm someone that they don't really see. So they see me once in a while. Because when senior high school, I wasn't in Tamale here. So when I went, it was really difficult for me to be coming home. And when I come to the university too, if not vacation, I don't really go home. So in the society, when they see me like, or there's an occasion, then I go with my siblings. Then some people are just like, hey, you won't grow fat. It's because of the books. As a lady, dear, like when you go to school to some point, you're supposed to relax so that you get your body and get married. And I'm like, I didn't thought I wanted to get married. I didn't tell you like I wanted to get fat, and I didn't. Who even said that like books are making me slim or something? So sometimes it's quite like intimidating because they kind of like compare you to people like you were growing up with who are actually like they think oh their looks are actually okay per their age or something. And that's for me per my age. I should have been like bigger, but I'm not big, and they think there is actually a problem. But I don't really care anyway. Like sometimes even though like it can be intimidating, after that scene, I'm okay. Yeah, like people disrespect people like no matter their size or something, but I think I've actually also faced like people disrespecting me because they think I'm small. Mostly there are certain places that when you enter, right, and people think that it's supposed to be for the big girls, like it's supposed to be for the big boys. Okay, maybe age wise I'm okay, but my size they don't think that they don't think that I'm supposed to be there. Then oh, you'll be hearing like they'll be passing like subtle comments like oh there's but I don't really mind. I would always say that okay, let's see when everything we are supposed to do begins, then we see who is actually like matured for this or something. And that doesn't actually make me think that oh I should have been fat. Yes, like the way I talk about myself, maybe you can't even talk about yourself that way, right? And you don't really, perhaps I have reasons why I want to be this way, or naturally I'm this way, and I have reasons that I want to remain that way. So you meet me and you tell me that oh you have to gain weight, you have to do this, like I'll probably just ask you some questions and you might just end up not minding me again because I like my looks anyway. Yes. So I just don't really take those things to heart. But I know there are people that when someone says that to them, like it actually gets to them. That was October last year. There was this friend that kind of like confided in me that oh people say that oh her stomach is big, even though she's not really big and things. So when she wears stuff to class, like they kind of like laugh at her and it's making her depressed. And I was like, oh girl, chill. It's like she doesn't, and so sometimes she go as far as like starving herself, like so that she'll get like flat tummy. And that time we actually went for a program and it was like around 2 a.m. I was hungry. Like I just couldn't hold it. I said like I'm going to eat. And that's where like she told me like what has been happening. Like, so I eat midnight and I thought like my stomach is not big. And I'm like, yeah, like that's me. So you just have to be you and just make sure that like maybe sometimes those people that say that to you, they're not also perfect, right? And it's just because they don't get people that actually rub that in their face. That's why like they feel so confident to come to you to like just say all those things. The first thing like you could actually do to just get over those people is to just feel good about yourself. So know that this thing that you are wearing or like it looks nice on you. So even though some me if I come out and someone doesn't say that I'm nice, I know I'm nice. So I don't need like I don't need
You
a
don't need any
PhD to know that
approval.
yes, I'm nice.
Yes.
So when someone says like I'm nice, oh, it's a plus because it's something like you already
You
know.
already know.
But if you are coming out and you already think that oh, what would this person see? Like is my stomach big? Like you end up like you'd always have like those thoughts in your head or something. And I think like oh, she's picking up. Yeah.
Okay.
So just be positive about yourself.
Yay. Be positive. It's like I wanted to say something.
There's a lot of toxicity in the world because of how others treat people due to their looks, and it's causing mental illnesses, depression, and a lot of suicide too. Like damn girl, I'm slim, but that doesn't mean I should hate myself. I have acne, so I shouldn't kill myself because I have acne and I have dark spots and all those things. Those things doesn't reduce my value. I don't know if you get me. Like those things doesn't reduce my value, and people who would have appreciated me without all those things will still appreciate me with them. Okay, because you can't kill yourself because of your looks. Like that's the way you look, and they shouldn't assume you should look in a certain way to be able to appeal to them.